All right, fresh batch of rankings, curiosities answered, such as Alabama going from number 4 to number 10, above the cut line after the loss at home to Oklahoma, who jumps up to 8. Texas not pictured there. They dropped from 10 to 17 after the thumping by the Dogs. A&M still number 3, of course, after the big comeback. Georgia moving up, a couple other teams moving up and up and up. And Tulane, now the only group of 5 team in the top 25, so penciled into the playoff right now from the American. Gentlemen, unpack. What are your thoughts? You also have the whole right side over there at the bottom is all new because of teams losing.
Let's first give Kirby Smart a giant salute. That was an excellent yeoman effort of coaching your ball team. That physical, the hard-to-kill bunch is just that. That fourth quarter was something. But here's what happens. He jumps to 4. He continues to win out. He may not still get to the SEC championship game because of tiebreakers, which would be fine with Kirby because he not only get a bye here, he gets the bye for the SEC championship game, and he can rest his team getting ready for the quarterfinals,
which would be really huge.
All the way to the quarters on New Year's Day.
Yes,
they've taken some injuries, especially on the defensive side of the ball as of late. So again, we've talked about it ad nauseum. This new college football playoff format, because of how it's laid out, staying healthy and peaking at the right time is critical. So how those cards shake out in the end for a team like Georgia is critical.
And they want to avoid that ejector seat sitting down there. You don't want to be where Utah is, because that spot does not exist in the real world when it comes time for the playoffs. I'm just really curious to see how things settle out. The odds are all 3 of these undefeated teams aren't going to be undefeated when this thing's over through the conference championship games, where things start settling there, and who it really makes out, kind of like Ohio State did last year when they lost to Michigan and ended up not being a terrible thing.
No, they had some time off to refresh.
Curious how my local domer over here feels about Miami just inching just a hair closer.
Oh, yeah, they're slowly creeping toward a head-to-head.
This is easy to see. It's interesting. When you look at how this is broken down, it's clear that the committee is valuing first losses, right? Undefeateds at the top, then a group of 1 losses, then you go 2 losses, then you get some 3 losses.
Typical.
But as it relates to Notre Dame and Miami, Miami is 13th, 8-2, but their 2 losses were to 2 unranked teams. Notre Dame is ranked 9th, also 8-2, lost to Miami, who was currently 13th, and to the number 3 team, one of just 3 undefeated. So the long story short here is Notre Dame.
Oh, no, it's the long story long.
Long story long.
Listen, this is YouTube. We're filling. What? So Notre Dame has better quality losses than Miami, and the committee is valuing that.
They are.
That's simple.
And I would say this, I agree with you, but if they were both 1-loss teams, the head-to-head would be more valuable.
Right, no doubt.
Right.
What they're not valuing is what North Texas is doing. They're 9-1, and they're not in these rankings. That's surprising to me. Yes, they lost in a fireworks game, if you will, with USF, and they had their worst game of the season, all the turnovers in that ball game. But since then, they have been boat racing opponents, and they beat a very good Navy team who just knocked off USF. So I'm a little perplexed that they didn't get a ranking this
the American itself will kind of figure that out, right? As the tiebreakers and all that unfold.
If they win out, they'll get a chance to play for that championship.
If they win out, they get a chance to play Tulane, because Tulane is sitting there at 8-2. Didn't play Navy, didn't play North Texas, didn't play USF.
Whoa.
Yep.
Who did that?
And they're going to play. They play Temple this week, and they play Charlotte next week.
They did play 3 Power 4 teams, and they beat 2 of them,
Miss.
Northwestern and Duke. Ole Miss was a singular loss. So clearly, they say that non-conference scheduling doesn't matter, but when you're a group of 5 team, clearly.
They had a bad loss at UTSA. I mean, they got whipped there.
Fascinating game this week in Eugene with Oregon and SC.
With no wins in the current top 25, by the way.
Oregon is in a precarious position there with so many good teams just right behind them trying to, jump into that spot. So they need a win. SC clearly needs a win. That game's going to be playoff atmosphere. But what I think is really interesting, guys, is December 1 is the cutoff for any changes to the college football playoff next year. So if we want to go from 12 to 16, and you look at how many teams could end up with just 2 losses that are in either the SEC or the Big Ten, and before we even get to the ACC
And the
to
Big 12
and the
is
Big
right there on
12,
that cut line.
you see that there is absolute going to be a lot of conversation about we need to go to 16, right? If not for anything else other than just the money and the revenue of more games.
It's going to be a fever pitch conversation, especially if you have a 10-2
they
team.
won't do it unless there's a consensus as to the format.
Yeah.
And right now there is a back and forth between the SEC and the Big Ten as to how to go about it. Tony Petitti in the Big Ten wants automatic qualifiers. He wants to make sure that his conference will get 4. This year they're in a precarious place. The loser of the game in Eugene is probably not going to get in.
And I think because of that, Rick, the SEC is more likely to hold and stay where they are under the current format. Even with 12 teams, they may get 5 in. The Big Ten's only going to get 3. They don't need to go to 16 because of how they're positioned. I think the Big Ten...
That would be a bit of amnesia because they only got 3 last year.
Correct. So if you're going 5 and 3 between those 2 and those are the 8, it's the automatic
That
qualifiers.
averages
that you
out to
want.
4.
Imagine that.
Mm-hmm. But now you think of it, if you go to the automatic qualifier, you're guaranteed the 4, and you get the play-in games, which are added inventory, which is, what we always talk about here. What was the question?
Money.
The answer is money. What was the question?
But I think the point I'm making is that because of that December 1st deadline, I think it's more likely that nothing happens and it stays 12 than the Big Ten admitting or agreeing that it goes to 16. And
Why would they make
you mean so they could actually take their time and plan it and do it the
Why
right
wouldn't
way?
they push this deadline later?
Thank you. That's where I was going.
Yeah.
Why is the
We
drop
can't
dead
figure out
date
deadlines.
December 1st when you don't even have this year's playoff field settled yet?
I don't even know how I feel about
because
it.
it's college football.
Yeah.
That's why.
It's like at least we finally moved the transfer portal until most
makes me
teams are
wanna
done
drink.
playing. Right? You want to talk about Georgia Tech, by the way? I mean, look, they're in a situation where they're in first place. They're part of this mess in the ACC.
Well, win and you're in. Win and you're in. You're playing your conference championship game.
But they could lose to Pitt, beat Georgia, not make the ACC championship game, and get into the playoff. If that were to all.
The Georgia victory would be hard to ignore.
Yes.
And also hard to fathom happening in a lot of cases, too.
And
right?
yet, that would mean the ACC would get 2 spots, and that would bogart another spot from either the Big 12 or the SEC or Big
Is that
Ten.
the proper use of Bogart?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Trust me, you knew what I meant. But
I don't know what he said, but I knew what he
They're
meant.
stealing bids.
The
We're
answer
in
is money.
we're in the basketball world now, right?
Yes.
We're stealing bids, and that's
Yep.
exactly. And those 2 conferences, the Big Ten and the SEC, who hold the veto power, they don't want bids stolen from them.
Right.
And therein lies why I think we're going to get some acquiescence to this automatic qualifier.
We definitely need some acquiescence. I
Don't want to
agree.
see Vanderbilt make it somehow.
Can we push the deadline
Beat
back?
Tennessee?
I mean, December 1st.
Brian, you're not thinking. You're just being logical.
Exactly.
No,
I'm not used to
emotional.
that.
We're being emotional.
Figure that.
Come on, man.
Come on, homie.
man.
Yes.
You knew what I meant.
I'm going to get drunk off.